regards to your project. As we proceed with SQL, I'd highly recommend that you work on your SQL queries related to your project parallel, yeah? Because the final exam week is looming soon and you won't have any time then. And very soon we're going to post a deadline for the demo video. Demo video, as in the video that you'd have to create by screen recording in your own device after you've implemented all the functionality. So demo video, in order to be able to prepare the demo video, you need to have to be done with all the functionalities. Functionalities গুলো implement না করে তো demo ভিডিওতে কিছু দেখানোর থাকবে না। সবগুলো implement করে demo ভিডিওটা বানাতে হবে। Demo ভিডিওটার deadline আমি I'm gonna post it very soon. It's definitely gonna be at least 10 days or more before the final exam, that is, right? So make sure
10 days what?
10 days or so before the final exam, at least. At the latest, that is, at the latest 10 days or so before the final exam, demo video deadline টা থাকবে। So demo video টা বানানোর জন্য তো আমাদের সবগুলো functionalities implement করা থাকতে হবে, তাই না? So please make sure that as you proceed with SQL, at the same time you think about the SQL queries you need to construct in order to get the data that you need to get in order to display the charts and the tables that we have in the output charts. So the output charts tab বা output charts ওই মেটেরিয়াল যে দুটো আছে ওই দুটার মধ্যে যা যা চার্ট যা যা টেবিল আছে সবগুলো ডিসপ্লে করতে পারতে হবে। So make sure that you start working on getting the data to display those things, right? Acha. And also, by the way, by now, all groups should be done creating their databases. You're done with your ERD feedback, your data modeling feedback, সবাই data modeling feedback পেয়ে গেছো। By now, প্রত্যেকটা গ্রুপের হচ্ছে গিয়ে যার যার database created and populated হয়ে যাওয়া উচিত, ঠিক আছে? So if you haven't created your database yet, for your project, that is, for your project, if you haven't created your database yet or haven't populated it, know that you're already lagging behind. Please make sure that you get that done within the next couple of days, at least by this week, all right? Okay, right, then let's get started with our actual lecture session. So we are already well into the topic of advanced SQL as in data fetching queries where you need to combine multiple tables. And by combining, we mean join multiple tables. So this is one example of join command, but this specific syntax doesn't use the specific join command, yeah? But it does the same thing anyway. So once again, when we read through a query, we will follow the order of execution that we learned towards the end of the last lecture slide or the one before, right? Or your first day from executed high, after from where executed high, after where we execute, let's say group by, and then having, and then let's say select, and then order by. So ওই order অনুযায়ী যদি আমরা দেখি, let's take a look at this command, what's going on. From these two tables, the moment we have multiple tables in the from clause, what does that mean? Suhalia, can you hear me?
Yes, miss.
Can you help the rest of us out? So from clause has multiple tables listed. What would that mean?
That means from the customer table and also from the order table.
And what does that mean? দুটো টেবিল থেকে মানে কি বোঝাতে চাচ্ছে?
We will take data from there.
How does that work? These are two different tables. How does that work?
So if we see in select c dot customer ID, so from customer table we're going to take customer ID, and from order table customer ID also.
Okay. Anyone else wants to help along? What does it mean to have multiple tables in the from clause?
It's like the implicit join হয়ে যাচ্ছে.
As simple as that. The two tables will be joined together, right? So actually, the thing is, we do not get the customer ID from the customer table and the order ID from the order table. It doesn't work like that, all right, Suhalia? Customer ID আলাদা customer table, order ID order table থেকে এভাবে কাজ করে না আসলে. What happens is that we join these two tables, combine them into a single table, right? একটা single table বানানো হয়. The moment you list multiple tables in the from clause, all the tables will be joined together and you'll form a combined table. And whatever you have listed in the select clause will be extracted from that intermediate join table. ঠিক আছে? So একটা table বানানো হয় আগে. All right, these two tables are not going to be treated as separate tables and data will not be extracted from the two separately. We will join the two tables, combine them into one. In a single table, we will have all the customer information as well as the order information based on the join condition. Now, where is the join condition here? Where did we place the join condition? What part of the command contains the join condition?
Where?
The where clause, that's right. Where clause এর মধ্যে আমরা join conditionটা place করেছি. So customer table, order table এই দুটাকে join করা হবে based on this condition, all right? As you've seen in the PVFC database, that when we execute this command, say in the PVFC database, let's say if you were to select all, right. So this is our result, all right? So what's going on here? This is our join condition. We know that customer table has a customer ID. However, order table also has a foreign key customer ID. Customer ID is there in the order table as a foreign key. So দুটাকে আমরা এই primary key foreign key reference যেহেতু আছে common domain এর basis আমরা join করতে পারি. Customer ID from customer table matching with customer ID from order table. The rows where the values match, those rows will be joined. The customer table alone is until the customer postal code column. The customer postal code column পর্যন্ত শুধুমাত্র customer table. Then order table এর থেকে row গুলো join করা হচ্ছে. Based on what? First row তে customer table এর customer ID is 1. Order table এ গিয়ে আমি দেখবো customer ID 1 value আছে কোন row তে in the first row. So join the two together. That's how it works, right? So join all of them together. And from there, so this is what I was talking about. This is the intermediate join table. And from here we can select the things that are asked for in the query. All right, query তে যে জিনিসগুলো চাচ্ছে ওগুলো হচ্ছে কি এই intermediate table থেকে আমরা further select করতে পারি. All right, so there you go. And as you can see, one of the customer ID columns we can get rid of because it's redundant. যেহেতু join conditionটাই হচ্ছে কি এই দুটা ম্যাচ হতে হবে, of course the two will be the same. C.customer ID, O.customer ID. That is customer ID from the customer table, customer ID from the order table, whichever you call it, both of them will be the same. So যে কোনো একটা রাখলে actually চলছে, ঠিক আছে? So we can get rid of one and just go ahead and execute this. All right. Right then. So that's the join command using the where clause. All right. Where clause use করে join command execute করাটা হচ্ছে গিয়ে, that's how we're doing it here. Now the same command, if we were to execute it using the join syntax, this is how we would do it using an inner join. All right, inner join use করে এই কাজটা করব। একই জিনিসই করছি, instead of simply listing the tables separated by commas in the from clause and placing the join condition in the where clause, this command is better designed, let's say, in terms of readability. All right, so here it's explicitly stated that from customer table, inner join order table, that is customer table will be joined with order table. Based on what join condition? On, see the on clause, that's an SQL clause, that's an SQL keyword. On is an SQL keyword. On this join condition, all right? A join condition tar basis e customer table or order table join kora hobe. See, better readability. Inner join explicitly bola ache. Customer table, inner join order table on this join condition, right? Works exactly the same way, just better readability, all right? So now in the exam, if you were asked to perform join commands, you can choose to do it whichever way you want, all right? Where clause or using the join syntax, as long as it's not explicitly stated in the question that you have to use the join syntax, all right? Let's try and execute some join command using the using the pubs database, right? So that we get some practice done. So say if this is our command, or sorry, if this is our query, this is the query that we need to execute, all right? This is visible to everyone, right?
Yes, miss.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So this is the query that we want to execute. Now, it doesn't say explicitly that you need to use the join syntax or anything like that, or the where clause. Where clause is kotha hobe, join syntax is kotha hobe explicitly kintu bola nei, which means that it's up to you. Je tumi where clause use kore eta korba naki inner join use kore kajta korba, whichever you want. Once again, the pubs database schema, এই স্কিমাটা হচ্ছে গিয়ে সবার সাথে শেয়ার করা আছে classroom materials এ. Please take a look at the schema and let's try and write the SQL command in order to get the result of this query based on the pub schema. All right. First, a where clause দিয়ে try করি, যেহেতু explicitly বলা নেই যে join command use করতে হবে. Let's use the easier one, where clause. All right. Okay. So first of all, whenever you write an SQL command, যে অর্ডারটা ফলো করবা হচ্ছে গিয়ে এসকিউএল এর অর্ডার অফ এক্সিকিউশন অনুযায়ী ফলো করবা, ঠিক আছে? ফার্স্টেই চিন্তা করবা from which table? Display a list of the names of all authors along with the continents they are from. Names of all authors. Take a look at the pubs database, figure out from which table we will get the names of all authors. Author naam holo from the author table. Author table we see AU underscore L name, AU underscore F name. What is that? The author name. So we know that আমরা যখন from clause-টা লিখবো তখন হচ্ছে গিয়ে one of the tables will be the author table, right? So author underscore T. Okay. Next what? We have the names of all authors, fine. Now, does author table have anything called continents? The continents they're from. Author table ki continents bolte kono kichu ki ache?
No.
No, it's in country.
No. Where do we have that? In the country table. So what do we need to do here?
Join operation.
Join with the country table.
So এখানে কি করব? Join with country.
No, okay, so
Country table
Country table.
is joined with na
It's only country underscore.
country.
Only country.
Okay, yeah, that's right. Sorry, I'm just messing with you guys. Okay. From author table and country table. Yeah. And next, once we are done with this, যে আমরা জানি যে কোন দুইটা টেবিল থেকে আমরা হচ্ছে কি ডেটা নিব, বাট আমরা তো জয়েন করছি তাই না, মাল্টিপল টেবিল রাখছি ফ্রম ক্লজে, তার মানে কি জয়েন হবে তাহলে আমাকে জয়েন কমান্ডটাও লিখতে হবে, জয়েন কন্ডিশনটাও লিখতে হবে। জয়েন কন্ডিশনটা আমরা কোথায় লিখবো? ফলোইং দিস সিনট্যাক্স। এই সিনট্যাক্সটা ফলো করলে জয়েন কন্ডিশনটা কোথায় লিখবো? উইথ অন
where এ লিখবো?
That's right, not with on, with where. Where clause এর মধ্যে join condition place করব if we are following this syntax. Say from author underscore T, comma, country underscore T. So where clause এ আমরা join conditionটা place করব। Now what is the join condition? We'll go back. এটা figure out করার জন্য join condition কি হবে? এটা figure out করার জন্য যেটা করতে হবে, pub schema-তে গিয়ে দেখতে হবে primary key, foreign key reference-টা কোন attribute এর জন্য আছে। Do we have a foreign key in the author table, guys?
Country.
Yes,
Country is the foreign key. Is that foreign key referencing something from the country table?
Yeah.
Who is it referencing? If it's a foreign key, basically, who is it referencing? Author table এ country যদি একটা foreign key হয়ে থাকে, সে কাকে reference করছে?
Country table এর country primary ID কে।
That's right. So যখনই join conditionটা লিখবো তখন আমাদেরকে দেখতে হবে primary key, foreign key reference গুলো। ঠিক আছে? এখন আমাকে author table কে country table এর সাথে জয়েন করতে হবে। author table এ দেখবো কোনো foreign key আছে কিনা, country foreign key আছে। আচ্ছা, এই foreign keyটা কাকে রেফারেন্স করছে? country table এর country primary key কে। সো এই অ্যাট্রিবিউটটাই আসলে আমার থাকবে জয়েন কন্ডিশনে। Based on that I will create my join condition. Now alias use করি, author table এর জন্য a alias use করি, country table এর জন্য c alias use করি। All right, if you feel that this is more readable, go ahead and do that. Use as for alias, that's completely fine, there's nothing wrong with it. All right, okay. A dot country is equals c dot country, that's right. That's my join condition done. So join করে ফেললাম তো table. Now that the two tables are joined, এখান থেকে আমি সিলেক্টটা বের করব নাও once again remember order of execution not the same as the order in which you need to write the command select clause last লিখতে গেলেও select আমি যদি এখানে লিখি will it work no you cannot do that right you cannot do that so select clause must be written right at the start আমরা এটা লাস্টে চিন্তা করব মানে আমরা যে অর্ডারে কোয়েরিটা সাজাবো ঠিক আছে পরে তখন কি হচ্ছে সিলেক্টটা উপরে আসবে বাট যখন কোয়েরিটা ফার্স্ট লিখবো ফার্স্টে চিন্তা করবো ফ্রম which table then based on which join condition and then finally select clause okay what are the things that we need the name of authors name of all authors so এই join table থেকে কোন অ্যাট্রিবিউট গুলা বের করে আনো
AU underscore if name.
If name and
AU underscore L name.
AU underscore L name that's right very good
and continent.
So
What else?
A dot country.
C dot continent.
okay c dot continent okay yeah that's what we are looking for fine but do we need to do this part is there anything called continent in the author table at all
No. So we
No.
don't.
It is implied, so yeah.
so the moment you say continent automatically dbms will have to go to country table author table is a continent name যদি continent দোনোটা টেবিলে থাকতো if you were to do something like this যে country ও দেখাবা let's say in that case it would be an issue you cannot state or you cannot list country in this manner in the select clause what would you have to do then either do a dot country or c dot country same thing দোনোটা একই ভ্যালু দিবে because join condition এ আমরা বলে দিচ্ছি the two tables will be joined based on matching country values whichever you do is fine but যে কোনো একটাকে রেফারেন্স করতে হবে যদি আমরা এরকম ওপেন রেখে দিই DBMS will be confused country table of sorry country column of which table A or C so এখানে আমাকে মেনশন করে দিতে হবে ঠিক আছে if you were to do something like this but if it's continent that's fine no problem okay right then so yeah that's the command now এখানে যদি আরেকটা জিনিস বলে দেই যে use the join syntax this command will surely work but if this is mentioned you must use the join syntax in that case if you were to write this command you'd get a 0 ঠিক আছে because join syntax use করতে explicitly বলে দেওয়া হচ্ছে আরেকটা জিনিস semicolon don't ever forget that even though you will see that whichever software you use semicolon ছাড়া হচ্ছে executed হচ্ছে but still আমরা কিন্তু র এসকিউএল এর স্ট্যান্ডার্ড ফলো করছি ঠিক আছে not MySQL not Postgres not MariaDB not anything like that alright আমরা র এসকিউএল এর স্ট্যান্ডার্ড ফলো করছি র এসকিউএল এর স্ট্যান্ডার্ড অনুযায়ী every SQL query must end with a semicolon right so exam এ semicolon ভুলে গেলে you will lose marks there is no such thing as okay this works in MySQL query so why is that a problem we are using raw SQL so don't forget semicolons all right okay now if you were forced to use the join syntax then how should we change this command
After author table as in we will join in a join.
Operating a join.
that's right very good
Where instead of where we will use on.
that's right simple as that very good let's try another command yeah okay let's try this one then show the title name and publisher of each book right so if it's stated in this manner first of all once again you can use the where clause you can use the join syntax completely up to you no problem with that all right so let's try this first thing we need to figure out once again from which table right always first thing from which table show the title name কোথায় পাবো take a look at the pub schema
Title table.
Title table.
in the title table that's right title name we'll find in the title table So where will we make the change? কোন জায়গায় গিয়ে title name টা incorporate, sorry, title table টা incorporate করব?
Instead of author T, we will write titles T.
That's right. Titles underscore T. That's right. Also, by the way, if it says in the schema that it's TBL titles, feel free to use TBL titles. That's fine as well. So এখানে যদি TBL titles use করো, schema exact nameটা use করো, that's fine. Okay, you can use that, even though we follow a certain convention. But schema te je table name ta deya ba relation e je naam ta deya directly এটা use করা যাবে. There is nothing wrong with that because you're just referencing the schema. All right. So TBL titles so use করা যাবে. That's fine. Okay. So yeah, TBL titles use করলাম. Let's try and do this one using TBL titles. From TBL titles, and then what? Publisher. Publisher. Where do we get the publisher information? Do we get the publisher information in the titles table? Titles table e ki publisher information আছে? Take a look at the titles table. Do we have the publisher's information in the titles table?
We have the pub ID and the foreign
Pub
key.
Pub ID foreign key.
Okay. Pub ID foreign key হিসেবে আছে, sure, but do we have the publisher's name though?
No, we have to
No.
go to the publisher table, join it.
That's right. So we need to go to the publisher table to get the publisher's name, right? So what change do we need to make here?
Contributor জায়গায়
Under
publisher
join publisher T.
Publisher table, all right? So let's do TBL. That's how TBL publisher, yeah. TBL publisher, right? As T. As T. Okay. What next then? Next, we need to write the join command. Sorry, join condition. Next, we need to write the join condition. Join condition এর জন্য আমরা কোন জিনিসটার উপর ফোকাস করব? What do we need to take a look at? Join condition এর জন্য. In general, what is it that we need to look for? In
Foreign
general,
key.
foreign key, primary key references. আমরা যে দুটো টেবিল কল করছি, publisher title table, এই দুটোর মধ্যে আমরা দেখব কোনো foreign key, primary key reference আছে কিনা. We see that, as you guys have pointed out, titles table there is a pub ID foreign key. Who is it referencing? It's referencing the pub ID primary key of the publisher table. Yeah. So from that we know in the join condition, that's what we need to use. So let's say T dot
Pub ID.
pub ID
Underscore ID.
is equal to T dot pub underscore ID. That's what we need to do. Something very basic as that, right? And what about the select clause? What are the things that we're looking for? Title name, the title,
Then pub name, underscore name, pub underscore name.
title, then pub underscore name. Okay. Will that work?
Title underscore name.
title underscore name
Title underscore name. I understand title.
T dot title.
I think in the
Miss, in the schema it is
Uh,
only written as
p
title.
dot title name p
in
dot
the scheme it's written only as title. Are you sure?
Yeah,
think-
it's just title.
This is the schema, no?
Title name. There is
title name
It's title underscore name. I think you
yeah,
guys are
but-
talking about the database, the actual database. Yeah. Okay. মানে in the exam schemaতে যেটা দেয়া আছে ওটাই হচ্ছে গিয়ে ফলো করো, ঠিক আছে? Try and do that. What I'll do is I'll try to change the schema. All right, এই যে schemaটা দেখতে পাচ্ছো, exam যেটা দেয়া হয় এটা আমি একটু change করে I'll try to make it resonate more with what we have in the actual database. But regardless, এটা করা হোক না হোক, এটা যদি করা নাও হয়, follow the schema. Follow the schema. Table name এর জন্য follow the schema. Attribute name এর জন্য follow the schema. All right? For everything. Even though, let's say, actual table, it's title. The actual table names themselves are title underscore T, publisher underscore T, and so on. But follow the schema. All right? So, yeah. Okay. Okay, so here we've got, yeah, pub name, yeah. That's it. That's the command.
is title dot sorry t dot title
T
name
dot
হবে।
title name হবে. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, আর p dot pub name
Okay. Why do we need to do that? Once again, Do we have anything called title underscore name in the publisher table?
We don't have to do it.
Yeah, we don't
Yeah.
need.
হ্যাঁ এটা করতে পারি, there's nothing wrong. If you were to do this, no marks would be deducted because there's nothing wrong with doing this. But at the same time, it's not necessary. Just বুঝার জন্য বলে রাখলাম, ঠিক আছে? আমরা কিন্তু এই যে রেফারেন্সিং গুলো করে থাকি হচ্ছে গিয়ে যখন for example here customer ID is present in both tables, so that in that case you have to actually point out from which table you're trying to call the customer ID. All right, এখানের মধ্যে title name is present only in the titles table, so even if we didn't do this there would be no issue. Pub name is present only in the publisher table, even if we didn't do this there would be no issue, but এটা করলেও কোনো ভুল নেই. Just so you understand, I'm pointing that out. Right then, তাহলে আমরা একটু আচ্ছা কমপ্লেক্স কোনো কিছু কি দেখবো? আচ্ছা, maybe later, once we're done with this entire lecture slide, maybe at the end of the join lecture we will look at more complex join commands. Right? Acha. Now then, back to our previous CDB. There, along with the previous commands, along with what we have been asking for in the previous commands, the customer name, ID, order ID, and all of that, those things, blah, blah, blah. What if another condition was added where it was stated in the query that the customer IDs for those customers should also be displayed who have never placed an order? Include the customer ID and name even if there is no order available for that customer. That is, even if a customer has never placed an order, we should still display their ID and name. Will the previous queries or the previous commands have done that? These commands, would they have done that? Displayed the ID and name of those customers who never placed an order? No. Why not? Why not? Try to understand that. Why not? Because of this condition. যে কাস্টমার গুলো কোনো অর্ডার কখনো প্লেস করে নাই তাদের আইডি কি অর্ডার টেবিলে থাকবে? If a customer has never placed an order, will their customer ID be present in the order table? No. And if it's not present in the order table, will that specific ID satisfy or meet the join condition? No. A condition to সে meet করতে পারবে না. And because of that, that customer ID will be missing from the result table because it wouldn't be able to satisfy this join condition. Why? Because it would not be present in the order table at all if they haven't placed an order. But এখানে আমাকে বলে দিচ্ছে we also must return the list of those customers who have never placed an order. What does that mean? We cannot perform an inner join anymore. An inner join would not give us that result. We need to perform a left outer join. What does the left outer join do? To the left of this command, left outer join, যে জায়গাটায় প্লেস করছি তার লেফটে যে টেবিলটা আছে, to the left of this command, the table that we have, it will return all records of that table regardless of whether the records meet the join condition or not. Customer table selected সব data return করা হবে regardless of whether it meets the join condition or not. Customer table যে কাস্টমার গুলা বেসিক্যালি জয়েন কন্ডিশন মিট করছে না তাদের ডেটাও রিটার্ন করা হবে, রাইট? So if we were to perform an inner join, this is what it would look like, right? This is the inner join. All customers placed an order. If we were to perform a left outer join on the other hand, see here, customers who have never placed an order are also present here. Customers who have never placed an order are also present here. Why now? Because it's a left outer join. Left outer join মানে কি? এই left outer join এর লেফটে যে টেবিলটা আছে ওই টেবিলের সবগুলো সিলেক্টেড রেকর্ডস রিটার্ন করা হবে regardless of whether they meet the join condition or not. And there you go. null order ID, but still present in the result table. All right. Now, if we display the O dot customer ID, look at the results. See here, right? Okay, all right. So what did I do? Okay, right. Can aliasing হয়ে গেছে actually because of the missing comma. Sorry about that. Right. Okay. See here, customer ID in these rows is null. Why is that? Because a customer ID customer ID 6 is not present in the order table at all. আমি এখানে কাকে কল করছি? O dot customer ID, all right? O dot customer ID. Let's say make it okay alias করি to make some difference. O cust ID. Right? So the order table's customer ID, see here, it's null. Why? Because the customer ID by ID number 6 is not present in the order table at all. Why? Because that customer has never placed an order. That's why order table is that customer is not present. However, they're present in the result table because we're doing a left outer join. All right. If they don't have a value, null, but they will be there. Okay. So is it clear now, guys? Left outer join, how that works?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, Miss.
The difference between inner join and left outer join. All right, good. Now then, a aki, right, I'm not sharing this tab. Right. So using the same command, if we were to change the query a little bit, if we were to say that we want to include those order numbers as well, which weren't placed by a customer, let's say. If we were to do something like this, include the order number, even if there is no customer name and ID available for it. Any order number that was never placed by a customer, or in other words, any order number for which we do not have a customer's information, those order numbers should also be included in the result table. In that case, what must we do? Take a look at this command. আমরা এইবার কি চাচ্ছি যে order information গুলো আছে যেগুলোর জন্য কোনো কাস্টমার ইনফরমেশন নেই, ওই অর্ডার গুলো আমরা রেজাল্টে ইনক্লুডেড হোক এটা চাচ্ছি। So just change the left outer join to a right outer join. If you change it to a right outer join, what will happen? If we were to change this into a right outer join, simply right outer join এ যদি চেঞ্জ করি তাহলে কি হবে?
order table
All the records from the right table will be returned.
That's right. Order table এ সবগুলো রেকর্ড রিটার্ন করা হবে regardless of whether the join condition is met or not. All records from the order table will be returned regardless of whether the join condition is met or not. If you were to execute this command in our database, you will actually see that it will most probably return the same result as the inner query. There you go. Inner join query যেটা ছিল, inner join command যেটা ছিল, ওটার মতো exactly same result return করছে right outer join. Oh, sorry, I'm not sharing this tab. So see here, the right outer join, once we execute it, see here, the result looks exactly the same. Ditto copy of what we got as a result of the inner join command. All right, inner join command execute corporate ja peyechi exactly same. Can anyone tell me why that is the case? Right outer join or inner join command result the same keno? Do both the commands work the same way? Is that the reason?
ma'am, order table যারা মানে অর্ডার করেনি তাদেরটা এক্সক্লুড করা হয়েছে, বাট
Come again?
অর্ডার টেবিলে মানে অর্ডার আইডি মানে যারা কখনো অর্ডার করেনি তাদেরটা এক্সক্লুড করে এখানে অ্যাড করা হয়েছে।
No, I'm asking if we were to do the inner join here. দেখো, inner join যদি করি, look at the result. What the result is. Right outer join করি, একই result. So inner join আর right outer join এর একই result কেন আসছে? তার মানে কি
কাস্টমার ছাড়া তো কোনো অর্ডার প্লেস করা হচ্ছে না।
Exactly. So don't get confused here. inner join আর right outer join দোনোটাতে আমরা same result পাচ্ছি only because if you take a look at the order table, how do that? If you take a look at the order table, actually এমন কোনো order নেই যেটা কোনো customer দ্বারা প্লেস করা হয়নি। এখানে যদি এমন কোনো অর্ডার আইডি থাকতো যেখানে কাস্টমার আইডির আন্ডারে নাল আছে, তখন দেখতা যে ইনার জয়েন আর রাইট আউটার জয়েনের কমান্ডের ডিফারেন্সটা। ঠিক আছে, যদি অর্ডার টেবিলে আদৌ কোনো অর্ডার থাকতো যেটার জন্য কোনো কাস্টমার ইনফরমেশন নেই, তখন ইনার জয়েনের রেজাল্ট আর রাইট আউটার জয়েনের রেজাল্টে একটা ডিফারেন্স পেতাম। ঠিক আছে, তখন আমরা পেতাম বিকজ অর্ডার টেবিলে সবগুলো অর্ডারের জন্যই কাস্টমার ইনফরমেশন আছে। দ্যাটস ওয়াই রাইট আউটার জয়েন পারফর্ম করি অথবা এই যে ইনার জয়েন পারফর্ম করি, সেম রেজাল্ট, রাইট? That's why. That's only why. Okay. But actually, the two commands, they work in different ways. Right. Now, whatever we are looking for here, we want to see a list of those orders for which there are no customers information. Will this command do the trick? এই কমান্ড কি কাজ করবে এই রেজাল্টটা দেখানোর জন্য? Is this command all right, guys? আমরা কি দেখতে যাচ্ছি? The list of those orders which haven't been placed by any customer. So the list of those orders for which there is no customer's information. My question is, this command, is it going to return that result for us?
Yes.
So
Yes,
no.
it will.
No, left
So
outer
left outer join দিয়ে নাল গুলোকে রিমুভ করে দিব। সরি, নাল যেগুলো আছে সেগুলোকেই রাখবো।
left outer join হবে।
I think we can do like left outer join. And
Why won't this work? Simply চিন্তা করে দেখবা এটা just right outer join হলেই এই রেজাল্টটা রিটার্ন করবে তা না। আমাকে তো দেখতে হবে right outer joiner to the right of the right outer join which table is there. আমাকে তো এটা দেখতে হবে। Of course this will not work. This command will not return the result of this query. A query result a command return করবে না। Why is that? Because we have to check actually right outer join to the right of right outer join which table is there. কোন টেবিল আছে? কাস্টমার টেবিল। সো সে কাস্টমার টেবিলে সব রেকর্ডস রিটার্ন করবে। If you were to execute this command, this is what we get. This is not what we want. এটা তো আমরা চাচ্ছি না। আমরা তো কাস্টমারের সব ইনফরমেশন চাচ্ছি না। আমরা চাচ্ছি অর্ডার টেবিলের সব ডেটা। আমরা queryটা দেখো once again. The query is asking for all those orders as well to be included for which there is no customer information. সব কাস্টমার ইনফরমেশন কিন্তু সে চায়নি। সে কিন্তু বলেনি যে সবগুলো কাস্টমার ইনফরমেশন ইনক্লুড করো whether or not they meet the join condition. All right? They're asking for the order information. So this will not work. In order to make it work, either we have to change this to a left outer join, right? Or if you want to use a right outer join, then the tables must be switched. Order table must be placed to the right of the right outer join. কারণ আমি order table সব information চাচ্ছি, not the customer table. Makes sense, everyone?
Yes.
Understood?
yes, ma'am.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Excuse me. Right then. So now that we're done here, okay. So if you were to do a full order join on the other hand, guys, can anyone tell me? Ekhane jodi full order join kortam, what would that return? First of all, by the way, this is once again not the command that you want to write in order to get the result of this query. A query result er jonno this command is not correct. Full order join use korle we will get a lot more than that. That's not what we want. But regardless, full outer join use korle, what is the difference between full outer join, left outer join, and right outer join? Simply that's what we want.
It will keep null values from both tables, basically.
Basically, it will keep all customer data, all order data, regardless of whether they meet the join condition or not. Right?
Yes.
As simple as that. Regardless of whether the join condition is met, all the customer data and all the order data will be kept. Okay. So now, remember that view that we created. This is the reason for that, to avoid complexities such as these. All right. So let's say we are asked to prepare all the information in order to generate an invoice. All right. For order number 1006, we want to generate an invoice. What are the data that we need? একটা invoice generate করার জন্য customer information লাগে. So customer information আমরা কোন টেবিলে পাবো? অর্ডারটা কোন কাস্টমার প্লেস করেছে ওই কাস্টমারের সবগুলো ইনফরমেশন আমাদের ইনভয়েসে থাকবে. So which table do we need to go to for that? We need to go to the customer table. So from clause এর মধ্যে আমরা customer table list করলাম. Then next in the invoice we also have to place all the data of the order number 1006 এর যা যা data আছে, order date, everything. So 1006 এর যেসব data আছে, order data, ওই ডেটাগুলো লাগবে. ওই ডেটা আমরা কোন টেবিলে পাবো? In the order table.
Order table.
Also এই স্পেসিফিক অর্ডারের মধ্যে, এই অর্ডার নাম্বারের মধ্যে 1006 অর্ডার নাম্বারের মধ্যে কোন কোন প্রোডাক্ট অর্ডার করা হয়েছে এবং কত কোয়ান্টিটির, এটা আমার লাগবে. Which products and by which quantity, we need that. Where will we find the ordered quantity and the product ID which were ordered in order number 1006? Where will we find the quantity and the product ID? We will find that in the order line table. Remember, order line table contains the ID of the products that were ordered in a certain order and also the quantity by which those products were ordered. Also, আমাদেরকে কিন্তু প্রোডাক্ট গুলোর জাস্ট আইডি দিলে কি ইনভয়েস হয় না. We also must include the name, the price, individual price of the product. প্রোডাক্টের নাম লাগবে, প্রোডাক্টের প্রাইস লাগবে. প্রোডাক্টের নাম বলতে প্রোডাক্ট ডেসক্রিপশন আছে, আমাদের প্রোডাক্ট স্ট্যান্ডার্ড প্রাইস আছে. Where will we find product description and standard price? In the product table. So we need all of these information to generate an invoice. Customer information লাগবে, so customer table লাগবে. Order সব information লাগবে, order table লাগবে. Which products and by what quantity we need that, so we need order line table. Product গুলোর নাম আর প্রাইস লাগবে, for that we need to go to the product table. So all these four tables must be joined together. Okay. So with the from clause, in the from clause, we will list all of these tables together, all four of them. And then in the where clause, we will place all the join condition. Customer table or order table join করব কিসের বেসিসে? Do they have a foreign key primary key reference between customer and order table? Customer table or order table এর মধ্যে কোনো foreign key primary key reference কি আছে?
Yes, miss.
Which one is that?
Customer ID.
That's right. Customer ID is a foreign key in the order table referencing the customer ID primary key of the customer table. Customer ID. It's a foreign key in the order table, remember. Referencing the customer ID primary key of the customer table. That's why we will use the customer ID to join the customer table with the order table. ওটা হয়ে গেল, join হয়ে গেল. Next, we need to join with the order line table. Is there anything in the order line table common with the rest of the table? Yes, there is. In the order line table, remember, we have order ID, which is in common with order ID from the order table. Order line table একটা order ID বলতে একটা foreign key আছে. Order line table we have a foreign key called order ID, which is referencing the order ID primary key of the order table. এখানেও একটা primary key foreign key reference আছে between order table and order line table. এই দুটার মধ্যে একটা primary key foreign key reference আছে. So order line table has order ID foreign key referencing the order ID primary key of the order table. So order ID use করে এই দুটা টেবিলকে জয়েন করব. Order table এর order ID, order line table এর order ID, এই দুটা ইউজ করে আমরা জয়েন কন্ডিশনটা বানাবো in order to join the order line table with the rest of the table. All right, গেল. Next, we need to join the product table. Now, is there any primary key foreign key reference between product table and any of these tables? Yes, there is. Between product table and the order line table, there is a foreign key primary key reference. What is that? Order line table has a foreign key product ID, which is referencing who? The product ID foreign key of order line table is referencing who? product ID primary key of the product table. So এই দুটার মধ্যে এই যে product ID ইউজ করে যে primary key foreign key reference আছে, hence a common column, the product ID column, which is common between the two, we will use that product ID column to join the product table with the order line table. There you go. Order line table or product ID, product table or product ID. That will be in our join condition, all right? So 4 tables, 3 conditions. Done. Next, any other condition we need to place, we just combine that one with the rest of the condition as well. Baki arekta condition ache, we need to prepare the invoice specifically for order number 1006. এই পুরো ইনভয়েসটা প্রিপেয়ার করতে হবে not for all orders. সবগুলো অর্ডারের জন্য ইনভয়েসটা প্রিপেয়ার করতে হবে না. Only for order number 1006 we need to prepare this invoice. Hence, the final condition. This is not a joint condition, by the way. All right, guys? The last condition, এটা কিন্তু joint condition না. This is not a joint condition. This is a condition which is specified by the query itself, that we need to prepare the invoice only for order number 1006. So, order ID is equal to 1006. Only for that record, we need to prepare all of these things. And until before this condition, we have the joint conditions. So 4 table join, 4 table join korte gele 3 condition. Similarly, 3 table join korte gele we need 2 conditions, 2 joint conditions. 2 table join korte gele 1 joint conditions. So yeah, like that. So for the pub schema as well, you might just be asked to write commands as complex as this. All right, let's try and see if you can write a command that is nearly as complex as this one. All right. Okay. Okay. So if we were asked to do this, now give it a thought how we're supposed to write the command. Right? We're asked to determine the total earnings of the author whose author ID is this. Total earning কিভাবে বের করতে পারি? একটু চিন্তা করে দেখি আমাদের কি কি জিনিস লাগতে পারে. Let's go back to the pub schema. I'm talking about the pub database here again, by the way. Total earning বের করতে বলেছে কোন একটা অথরে. ফার্স্টে আমরা দেখব যেটা যে একটা অথরের টোটাল আর্নিং কিভাবে ক্যালকুলেট করা যায়. ফার্স্ট এটা দেখব যে আদৌ আমি টোটাল আর্নিং একটা অথরের কিভাবে ক্যালকুলেট করতে পারি. টোটাল আর্নিং কিভাবে ক্যালকুলেট করতে পারি এটা ফার্স্ট আমি দেখব. ঠিক আছে? একটা অথরের টোটাল আর্নিং বের করার জন্য ফার্স্ট আমার কি বের করতে হবে? Very first thing, what do we need to find out?
Titles the author
Written by the author. তাই না? Very good, exactly. The titles that have been written by this author, first we need to find that out. The books that have been written by this author. এই author কোন বই লিখেছে এটা ফার্স্ট বের করতে হবে. So, আমার ফার্স্ট কি করতে হবে? How will I find the list of books written by the author?
Title author.
Title author table, that's right. Title author table, if we take a look at it, both the author ID and the title ID are present. So title author table গিয়ে আমি টাইটেল গুলোকে পাবো. বাট টাইটেল গুলো পেলে কি হবে? আমাদের তো লাগবে আর্নিং এর জন্য আমার কি দরকার? টাইটেলের প্রাইস দরকার. প্রাইস কোথায় পাবো?
Titles table.
Titles table. So far we know that we need the title author table because we need the titles written or the books written by this author. AUID, title ID, both of them are present in the title author table. Fine. Next, we need to find the price of each of the books. Price pabo, dekho price is listed as one of the attributes in the titles table. So we need to go to the titles table. Very good. Fine. Price pelam. But directly, এই বইয়ের প্রাইসটা যেটা, is that the direct earning of the author?
How many is sold in TBL sale?
That's right. So we also need to figure out which books were actually sold. All right. So for that, where do we go?
Sale table.
The sale table. That's right. Sale table এ গিয়ে আমরা দেখব
Quantity.
টাইটেল কোন টাইটেল আছে, and sale table থেকে আমি কোয়ান্টিটিও পাবো, how many we're ordering. All right. Okay. So let's try and write the command, shall we? So first আমার দেখতে হবে যে from clause এ আমি কোন টেবিলকে প্লেস করব. In the from clause, so far we know that we need the sale table. All right. We need the title author table. We need the title table. Right now? Okay. So let's just list those things one by one. TBL titles একটা ছিল. Let's call that T. And then we also need a TBL what's that title author, right? Let's call that TA. And which one was the other table? The sale table, right? Is that how it's written in the schema though? TBL sale, yeah, that's right. Okay, done. Let's call that S. Next, we need to figure out the join conditions. Take a look at the schema and figure out if there is anything in common between title author and title.
Is the ID.
Which ID?
Title ID.
Title ID.
That's right. So এখানে what do we need to do?
TA
T
dot TBL.
T dot title underscore T dot title underscore ID is equal to what?
TA dot
Dot title underscore ID. That's right. That's one done. Next what?
and for the author name, A dot AU ID.
Do we need the author name?
Oh, sorry,
Do we need the author name at all?
not the author
No.
name. I said author table থেকে author ID টা.
Do we need
Good.
to go to the author table to find the author ID?
Oh no, it's in the title author.
Title author table already AU ID আছে.
Yeah.
But good point though. আমার যদি command এ বলে দেয়া থাকতো for the author by the name blah blah blah, right? Whose name is, let's say instead of this, if it was written whose name is, let's say Jara Tokyo, right? In that case, I would have to go to the author table. No? Because author name is not present in the title author table. এখন আমাদেরকে এটা করতে হচ্ছে না কেন? কারণ কি আমাকে author ID দিয়ে দিয়েছে. Author ID has been provided to me. And if you take a look at the schema, title author table already has the AU ID. তো আমার তো actually author table এ যাওয়াই লাগছে না. ঠিক আছে? We don't need to go there. So the title author table is enough. Now then, title author sale table, sale table. We need to join the sale table. Now we need to check sale table এর সাথে title table অথবা title author table যে কোনো একটা যেটাই হোক না কেন তার কোনো কিছু কমন আছে কিনা. We need to check if there's anything
Title
common.
ID.
That's right. Remember that sale table has a title ID. Title underscore ID is there in the sale table. It's a foreign key there, as well as the part of the primary key. It's a foreign key there referencing the primary key title ID of the title table. All right. So yeah.
Aren't I just T dot title ID equals TA dot title ID equals
No,
S
you
dot
can't do
title
that.
ID?
No, that's not the right syntax. So syntax follow করতে হবে. You will get an error most likely for that. So you would have to place the join condition separately, right? So S dot title ID is equal to T dot title ID. All right.
Seems to
Interesting
work.
thing. If you were to do this as well, that's fine.
It does seem to work though.
You mean this?
Yeah.
Okay. Even if that works in the exam, I would highly recommend not doing something like that, because আমরা কিন্তু এক্সামে জাজ করব based on raw SQL, ঠিক আছে? So MySQL কি modifications আনে না আনে ওই জিনিসগুলো কিন্তু কনসিডার করা হবে না আসলে. So এক্সামের জন্য আমি যেটা বলবো, keep the conditions separate. All right? And also remember that it's a coordinated exam. So multiple other examiners will be checking your scripts. They will be checking your scripts not based on a specific database, all right? They will be checking it based on raw SQL. So raw SQL এর basis, raw SQL এর standard যদি follow করি, আমরা condition গুলোকে আলাদা আলাদা রাখি, ঠিক আছে? So if you can do that, brilliant. Do that for your project. Go ahead. You can go so far as to include specifically that command for your report as well. But in the exam, steer clear of those things. Steer clear of database specific SQL, all right, in the exam. Stick to raw SQL. Okay. Now then, right then. So 3 tables, 3টা table join করতে আমাদের 2টা condition লাগে. So we got all of that, fine. Now that we have these things, now we need to figure out what are the things we need to place in the select clause. Select clause কি কি place করতে হবে এটা একটু figure out করুন। কোন কোন জিনিসগুলো লাগবে total earning calculate করার জন্য। Let's take a look at the schema.
So I need the price times the quantity sold.
That's right. So we need price and then we need quantity. Very good. Anything else?
Also the author ID.
Okay. So what do we do here? Multiply it with AUID?
Oh, okay. So
Comma
A
AU
dot,
underscore ID. Right? Yeah. A dot.
yeah.
Okay. TA dot. It doesn't matter. AUID is present only in the TA table. And by the way, there is no A, all right? To confuse হওয়া যাবে না। এই জিনিসটা যদি করো, right away you will get marks deducted because A বলতে কোনো কিছু এখানে নেই, right? Author table আমরা reference করছি না। Once again, we do not need the author table, so we will not include author table in this command. Is that clear, everyone? Author table কিন্তু আমাদের লাগছে না। দেখো, once again, author ID is given to us. Author ID is provided. আর আমরা দেখতে পাচ্ছি স্কিমাটাতে যে if you go back to the schema, take a look at the title author table, TBL title author. AUID is already present there, right? So since AUID is there, we don't need to use the author table at all. The TBL title author table is enough, all right? And I don't even need to do something like this, ta.auid. If you do this, ta.auid যদি করো, nothing wrong with that. কোনো ভুল নেই, but part unnecessary না. Because author ID is present among these 3 tables. এই 3টা টেবিলের মধ্যে author ID is present only in the title author table, right? Acha, fine. If you want to display that along with the total earning, fine, go ahead and do that. But once again, please give it a little bit of thought and think about whether this will work or not. How many author IDs are here? Oh, by the way,
All
did
of
we
them.
include the
We need
condition?
the 7428 thing.
Yeah, so we need another condition in the where clause where we specify the author ID, which is this ID. Let's see. Now then, think about it whether it will work or not. AUID. How many AUIDs? How many author IDs will be there in this query? কয়টা author ID আছে এখানে? One single author ID. How many price quantities will be there? That depends on the number of books written by the author. No? প্রত্যেকটা বইয়ের জন্য কি আলাদা আলাদা প্রাইস কোয়ান্টিটি থাকবে না?
So I
In
think
fact,
verify করতে হবে।
প্রত্যেকটা সেলের জন্য, প্রত্যেকটা ইন্ডিভিজুয়াল সেলের জন্য প্রাইস কোয়ান্টিটি আলাদাভাবে থাকবে না?
Yeah.
So actually we need to apply an aggregate function here. সবগুলোকে আমি টোটাল আর্নিং বের করতে যাচ্ছি, তার মানে কি আমাকে তো সবগুলোকে সাম করতে হবে। Why are we forgetting that? আমার তো প্রত্যেকটা বইয়ের ইন্ডিভিজুয়াল প্রাইস মাল্টিপ্লাইড উইথ কোয়ান্টিটি, দেন ওটাকে সাম করতে হবে। We have to sum that up, right? We have to apply sum here. For each book, for each sale, in fact, for each sale, the price quantity multiplied সবগুলোকে একসাথে সাম করলে আমি টোটাল আর্নিংটা পাবো, right? So in order to calculate the total earning, we need to sum them up because this will return the price into quantity calculation for each individual sale. প্রত্যেকটা সেলের জন্য আলাদা আলাদা সেল টেবিলে এই অথরের আইডি যে রোতে পাওয়া যাবে, এই অথরের টাইটেল গুলো যে রোতে পাওয়া যাবে বেসিক্যালি। all the titles of this author যে রোতে পাওয়া যাবে, প্রত্যেকটা রোয়ের জন্য ইন্ডিভিজুয়ালি আলাদা আলাদা করে প্রাইস ইনটু কোয়ান্টিটি করা হবে, but the dimension doesn't match. All right, that's not what we want. We want to do the sum. All right, and this is also not something that we want in the result. If you take a look at the query, what is it asking for?
Total earning.
Total earning, as simple as that. Only total earning. Is it asking for the author ID?
No.
No, it's only asking for the total earning. So extra
Don't we have to group by this as well?
Why do we need to group by?
Like, or else I guess rows, like এরকম aggregate function দিলে group by করতে হবে না?
কেন আমরা কি গ্রুপ বাই ছাড়া অ্যাগ্রিগেট কখনো করিনি? Didn't we calculate things like
Oh,
average?
sorry, we removed AUID. Okay.
Yes, we removed AUID. If we were to include AUID, then we would have to do a group by. এটা করতে গেলে আমাদের গ্রুপ বাই করা লাগতো. If we were to include AUID, then it would become complicated. Because AUID is there in all of those rows. প্রত্যেকটা রোতে কিন্তু even though it's a single AUID, it's present in all the rows. Even if it's a single AUID, it's present in all the rows. All right. But আমরা এত ঝামেলা আমাদের complication করার দরকারই নেই, because in the result they're only asking for the total earning. Just find the total earning, that's all. That's all we are looking for. If you want to find the total earning, just aggregate function টা use করলেই হবে, and the aggregate function will do what? Individual price and quantity. Price quantity multiply করে individual রোতে যে price আর quantity পাবে সবগুলোকে sum করে নেওয়া হবে. However, this is not enough. This here is not enough either. Let's go back to the schema. Remember that there is a thing called advance. There is a thing called royalty, all right? What are these things? So the author is paid based on the royalty. শুধুমাত্র royalty percentage এর বেসিসে তাকে পে করা হয়. What is royalty? Royalty হচ্ছে গিয়ে the amount that is paid to the author from all the earnings. Okay, the royalty percentage. Royalty is stored as a percentage. This royalty here in the titles table is stored as a percentage. Let's say, for example, royalty হচ্ছে গিয়ে 50%. What does that mean? For this title, whatever the earnings are, we earning here 50% will go to the author. All right. Let's say for Lord of the Rings 2 Towers, the royalty percentage is 60%. That means 60% of the earnings will go to J.R. Tolkien, right? Total earning. So basically what we are doing here is we are calculating simply the price into quantity. But পুরাটা কি অথরের কাছে যায়? Does the entire thing go to the
times the price?
The royalty
times the price.
Royalty. But remember, royalty is stored in terms of percentage. 60% যদি হয়, royalty কে কি আমার convert করতে হবে না by dividing by 100?
Yes.
There you go. But then again, there's another thing called royalty share. What is royalty share? When a book has multiple authors, it could be the case, by the way. A book could have multiple authors. A book could be written by multiple authors. When a book has multiple authors, how is the royalty divided up? First, তো আমরা জানি যে royalty যে percentageটা, ওই percentageটা হচ্ছে কি author বা authorদের কাছে যাবে. But যদি multiple author থাকে, এই যে royalty percentageটা কিভাবে divide up হবে? That depends on the royalty share. Okay? That depends on the royalty share. Let's say, for example, Suhelia, Sabith, and Nusrat, the three of them decide to write a book together. All right. Let's say, for example, Nusrat is the first author, Sabith is the second author, Suhelia is the third author. Let's just say, all right. So first author usually first author হচ্ছে গিয়ে highest share পেয়ে থাকে. So Nusrat's royalty share. So let's say, for example, title author table. Nusrat's AUID will be there. Let's say AUID, her AUID is something, whatever. Her AU order will be there. AU order is what? ওই যে first author, second author, third author যে বললাম ওই অনুযায়ী. So AU order এ নুসরাতের value থাকবে 1. She's the first author. So AU order will be 1 for that book, for that specific title, all right? And royalty share, her share will be, let's say, 40%. Okay? So her share is 40%. And then comes Sabit. Sabit AUID থাকবে একটা হাবি জাবি whatever. And the same title ID. Title ID কিন্তু এখনো same. AU order value থাকবে কি 2. Sabit is the second author. So AU order will be 2. Royalty share, let's say, Sabit has a royalty share of 20%. Okay? And then comes in let's say Sabit has a royalty. Never mind, 30%. All right, so 30%. Sabit's royalty share is 30%. Then comes in Suhelia. Suhelia হচ্ছে কি একটা different একটা AUID, a different AUID, but the title ID will remain the same. AU order, her order will be 3 because she's the third author, and her royalty share, let's say, it's 20%. So 40, 30, 20. ঠিক আছে? So what is the earning of Nusrat? Nusrat's earning is 40% of the amount that we get after applying royalty percentage. Whatever the total earning of the book is, sale থেকে total earning এই বইয়ের পুরা বইয়ের total earning যা আসবে ওটার উপরে royalty percentage apply করতে হবে, whatever the royalty percentage is. ওই রয়্যালটির উপরে আবার নুসরাতের শেয়ার অ্যাপ্লাই করা হবে 40% of that amount. All right, similarly for the rest of them. So when basically you calculate the total earning of an author, bottom line is that you must incorporate the royalty share as well, in case they have other authors who have co-authored the book. বইটা যদি
So I
co-author
can
করা হয়ে
just
থাকে, multiply what?
royalty share by 100.
That's right. Share by 100. That's all. By the way, point করে রাখলাম, even though it should be obvious, if a book is written by a single author, for that single author, AU order is 1, royalty share is 100%. Okay? So if it's a single author, that is. Single author hole royalty share by default is 100% because there is no one else to share it with them. Okay? So basically, this is the final command that we need to write.
So ma'am,
Yeah.
it should be 100% if there is only one author.
Yeah.
But in our database, it's for some reason 99.999.
Okay. 99.999 for a book written by a single author.
Yeah.
Acha. I don't know why that's the case, but এটা ভুল ধরে নাও. In the exam, you can assume that it's 100%. All right. I'm not sure why it's specifically 99. এটা হতেই পারে, maybe client organization যাদের database এখানে use করা হচ্ছে, যাদের database তোমাদেরকে দেখানো হচ্ছে, maybe they have a certain rule or requirement or something like that যেখানে royalty share will be 99.99% or whatever, right? But it's supposed to be, I mean, like এমনি আমরা generally ধরে নিব যে royalty share is 100% for books written by a single author, right? Okay, right there. So let's try another one. If you were to change this to, let's say, publisher, earnings of the publisher with yeah. If we were to do this, now let's see how we would need to change the command. How would the command change in that case? Yes.
So
Let's
the
take a look at
royalty
the schema.
minus 100 by 100.
Okay, let's take a look at the select clause later. First, let's figure out what changes we need to make in the from clause. Once again, let's go back to our schema. Publisher total earning চাচ্ছি, ঠিক আছে? Publisher total earning চাচ্ছি. Will the title author table work
No.
anymore? We need the total earning of the publisher. First of all, আমরা সেল টেবিলে total earning এর জন্য always আমাদের সেল টেবিল তো লাগবে। সেল টেবিল is always going to be there for total earning, তাই না? মানে বই সেল করা হচ্ছে কতটুকু, এটার জন্য তো আমার সেল টেবিল যেতেই হবে। সেল টেবিলে যায় কি জিনিস আছে দেখি, স্টোর আইডি, অর্ডার নাম্বার, টাইটেল আইডি, ফাইন। Then let's once we have the title ID, we know that a title ID থেকে আমরা title table যেতে পারবো। Title table also has title ID. But there in title table we have pub ID. There we have pub ID. So that's what we will use. So publisher table has pub ID. Then titles table has pub ID. So what can we do? We can get the publisher's information from these, right? However, for this specific query, do we need the publisher table at all? Think about that. For this specific query, if the
Already in
ID is
titles.
mentioned, it's already in titles. Exactly, very good. Since the publisher ID is mentioned, it's already in titles. So actually, TBL publisher আমাদের লাগবেই না, right? So TBL publisher টা আমার দেখা লাগছে না। However, যদি queryটা আমরা change করে বলতাম, publisher, let's say, whose name is, let's say, Blooming Days. Whatever. একটা নাম বলে দিলাম, ঠিক আছে? এই ক্ষেত্রে কি করা লাগতো? In this case, since the name is mentioned, then you would have to go to the publisher table. But যদি ID mention করে দেয়া থাকে, ID mention করে দেয়া থাকলে আমাদের publisher table এ যাওয়া লাগছে না, because title table এ দেখতেই পাচ্ছি already pub ID is present. Okay? So we don't need to do that. Okay. Now then, so let's say we have to search by the publisher name. Blooming Days, all right? Let's say এই নাম অনুযায়ী হচ্ছে কি আমাদেরকে search করতে হবে or something like that. So let's try and write the query. First, we need to figure out from which tables. From which tables? Publisher name is present in which table, guys? Pub name is present in which table?
Publisher table.
In the publisher table. Okay. So publisher table আমি pub name পেলাম। ঠিক আছে, ভালো কথা। এখন next আমার লাগবে এই পাবলিশারের টোটাল আর্নিংস। টোটাল আর্নিংস এর জন্য আমরা দেখতে হবে এই পাবলিশার কোন কোন বই পাবলিশ করেছে। The books published by these publishers, we need to find that. Where will we find that? We will see that there is a pub ID in the titles table. So we can use this pub ID in order to extract all the books published by this publisher. No? This publisher, whose name is Blooming Days, সে কোন কোন বই পাবলিশ করেছে এটা জানার জন্য আমরা টাইটেলস টেবিলে গিয়ে pub ID ফরেন কিটাকে ইউজ করতে পারি না? So from that we know that we can get the books published by this publisher from the titles table. From the titles table we can get the books published by the publisher, right? All right, fine. We have the titles and we have the price as well. We also need to know which of these books were actually sold and by what quantity. For that, we need to go to the sale table. So if you go back to our query, where do we need to make the change? Do we change this?
No. We changed title author one.
Okay, title author to what? Someone other than Shafayat, please. What do we change this to?
Publisher.
TBL publisher. Very good. Okay, change করলাম. Is that how we write it in the schema though? TBL publisher. Yes, TBL publisher. Okay. And what about this one? Do we change this?
No, miss.
No. Okay. Now the join condition. First, title table কে join করার চেষ্টা করব. Let's say try and join with the publisher table. দেখবো আগে দুটার মধ্যে কোনো কিছু কমন আছে কিনা আদৌ। Title table আর publisher table এর মধ্যে is there anything in common between the two? Between title table and the publisher table, is there anything in common?
Pub ID.
হবে
That's right. Pub ID is common between the two. So where do we need to make the change?
where t dot power by t and p equal to p dot power by t.
That's right.
P dot.
P dot power by t. Very good. Yes. Yellow. And then finally, we need to join the sale table as well. Sale table কে join করতে হবে। দেখবো sale table এর সাথে এদের কারোর কোনো কিছু common আছে কিনা। Is there anything common between publisher and sale? Publisher আর sale এর মধ্যে is there anything in common? Take a look at the schema. Is there anything in common between publisher and sale?
No.
No. Sale table আর publisher table এই দুটার মাঝে কোনো কিছু common নেই। তাহলে sale table কে কিভাবে join করব? Now we'll look for whether there is anything in common between sale and titles. Sale আর titles এর মধ্যে is there anything in common between
Title
sale and
ID.
titles? Title ID. So we will use that. Take a look at the sale table, take a look at the titles table. Title ID is in common. So we will use that. So S dot title ID is equal to T dot title ID. We'll use that. Okay. And what about this part? এই জায়গাটা কি করব? That's right. Pub underscore main is equal to okay. Anyway, not important, right? Now then, what about the actual calculation? What do we do there?
100 minus royalty by 100.
Very good. Simply চিন্তা করে দেখো এভাবে যে royalty is the percentage that is owed to the author. বাকি percentage তাহলে কোথায় যাচ্ছে? বাকি percentage যাচ্ছে publisher-এর কাছে. As simple as that.
And
The
no
simple
royalty
thing we
share.
need to do here is 100 minus royalty. As simple as that. And will we have a royalty share by 100? This part do we need to have that at all?
Only one publisher, so
Publisher ক্ষেত্রে royalty share, is it applicable? Guys?
no.
No, miss.
No.
No.
Royalty share তো শুধুমাত্র for authors. So royalty share এখানে actually থাকবেই না. Simply as long as we do this is fine. 100 minus royalty. That is the percentage that is owed to the publisher. Now, if the pub ID is mentioned, on the other hand, with ID this one, okay? Here, what are the things that would it be correct to incorporate the TBL publisher table as well? এই জিনিসটা incorporate করাটা কি? Would it be correct to do that? Do we need the TBL publisher table at all? Think about it.
No, miss.
No. Why? Why don't we need it?
Titles আছে already.
Titles
Title
already
pub
pub
ID
ID আছে. Very good. Exactly. So title আমার already pub ID আছে. So we don't need that at all. So since we've gotten rid of that, we can get rid of this condition as well. Since we're joining only two tables, দুটো table join করার জন্য একটা single condition is enough. And this condition will also change into pub underscore ID is equal to or not. Okay. That's how it would change. Clear? Everyone?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Excuse me, sorry. I've got a bit of a cold. Sorry about that. Yeah. Moving on then. Finally, the last topic that we'll tackle in join, self-join, all right? So self-join, how does that work? We've taken a look at self-join a little bit when we were talking about relational algebra. So relational algebra থাকতে এই জিনিসটা করেছি. Now, let's say that we have an employee relation, employee underscore T, with employee ID, employee name in the PVSC database, right? Let's say. PVSC database, employee নামে একটা relation আছে, employee ID আছে, employee name আছে, and so on. And there's an employee supervisor attribute in the employee relation, which by the looks of it is a foreign key. How do we know that? There is a dashed underline, right? অ্যারোটা দেখানো নাই, অ্যারো থাকলে আমরা দেখতে পারতাম this foreign key is actually referencing the employee ID primary key, all right? So let's see. All right. Okay. Let's just say this one references this employee ID primary key, okay? Never mind. Yeah, you get the idea. Never mind. Employee supervisor is a foreign key referencing the employee ID primary key. So এখানে একটা self referencing চলছে, ঠিক আছে? So knowing that, let's say this is our query. We want to display all the employee IDs and name of each employee along with the name of their supervisor. প্রত্যেকটা employer ID আর name display করতে চাচ্ছি along with the name of their supervisor. ঠিক আছে? Not just ID কিন্তু name. শুধুমাত্র ID বললে employee supervisor ইউজ করলেই চলতো, বাট আমাদের নেমও লাগবে। In that case, understand that we need to do a self join. All right? Self join, how does that work? It works the same way as join. Only that in case of self join, aliasing is a must. You must alias. Why? Because you're going to use the same table twice. See here in the from clause, we have listed the employee table twice. দুইবার লিস্ট করেছি, ফার্স্ট অ্যাজ ই দেন অ্যাজ এম। তো কি হবে এখানে, ফার্স্ট রেফারেন্সটা হবে টুয়ার্ডস the E table which contains all the data of the employee table. Second reference হবে towards the M table which contains all the data of the employee table. So দোনোটা টেবিল একই ডেটা কন্টেইন করে বাট দুটা ডিফারেন্ট রেফারেন্সের আন্ডারে E and M. E and M. So what happens there now is that if we join these two tables based on the employee ID, employee supervisor reference, that is the primary key, foreign key reference between employee ID and employee supervisor, what happens is that we get all the employees' information and their manager's information in one place. Okay, all of that in one place. That's how self-referencing works. So all the employees' information along with all the supervisor's information. So basically, let's say for example we have the employee table. Employee table এর প্রথম রোতে যাবে, প্রথম রোতে employee ID পেলো, employee name পেলো, and so on, everything else, employee address, employee age, blah blah blah, everything. And then employee supervisor under কি পাবে, একটা ID পাবে for the first row in the employee table. Employee supervisor under একটা ID পাবে. What is that ID? The ID of the employee who is the supervisor of this employee. This employee currently যে employee রোতে আছে আমরা, তার যে supervisor, তার ID টা employee supervisor under পাবো. Then we go to the next employee table, the M employee table. M নামের under যে employee table আছে, we go to that one. There we will search for the previously found employee supervisor ID. Previously যে employee supervisor ID টা পেয়েছি ওটা আমি we will search for that. Where? Under the employee ID column. M table employee ID কলামের মধ্যে আমরা সার্চ করব employee supervisor ID টা কোন রোতে পাই in the employee ID column, by the way. Once we find that ID, ওই ID থেকে আমরা নামটা বের করব, then we know the name of the supervisor. All right? Does it make sense, guys? Or is it confusing still?
Seems, yeah.
Acha, let's take a look at the UniDB example to make this a little bit clearer, right? UniDB ক্ষেত্রে হচ্ছে কি আমাদের যেহেতু already একটা table example আছে, so let's take a look at that. It's the student table again, yeah, there. So this was our student table, right? So let's say this is what we want. We want to find the student ID name of each student along with the name of their senior guide. Right? So for starters, let's just say, for the time being, I'm just senior guide at lady. It's simple. Let's say we don't have anything like that. Okay. The senior guide. Okay, something simple as that. Right then. Yeah, we want to find the name and ID of all the students along with their senior guide. Right? Senior along with the name of their senior guide. ঠিক আছে? This is what the student relation looks like from the UniDB case. We know that student ID আছে, name আছে, senior guide, which is a foreign key referencing the STID primary key of the student table. STID is a primary key, and the senior guide foreign key is referencing the STID primary key of the student relation. All right. Now then, if we want to know the name of the senior guides as well, do we find that? Can we find that in the same row where we will find the student's information? Take a look at the table here. যে রোতে আমি স্টুডেন্টের ইনফরমেশনটা পাচ্ছি, স্টুডেন্টের আইডি আর নাম, ওই একই রোতে কি সিনিয়র গাইডের নাম পাবো? In the same row? No, we don't. We cannot find that in the same row. So what will we have to do? We will have to go to the first row, get the student's information, the ID and the name, and then go to the senior guide value 5, senior ID 5, senior guide ID 5. And then we will have to look for this ID once again in the student table under the student ID column. Student ID column again, fifth row again, STID value 5 পেলাম. And from there we will get the student name. All right. So that's how it works, self-referencing. So এখানে কি হচ্ছে? এই জায়গাটায় what we're doing here is from the student table as S, from the student table as SG. Both of the tables contain the same data, all right, but under different aliases, under different names. So they will be treated as different variables as well. Think about it. Variable X is equal to 5. Variable Y is equal to 5. Both of them have the same value, but X and Y, are they going to be the same variables? No. So idea is same. S table contains the same data, SG table contains the same data, but they will be treated differently. Why? Because they have different aliases. Student T as S, student T as SG. So S and SG, দুটো different table হিসেবে treat করা হবে. First আমি S table এ গিয়ে senior guide বের করব। কিভাবে? First row তে যাব। We will go to the first row of the S table. First row তে গিয়ে আমি senior guide এর ভ্যালুটা বের করব। Senior guide is 5. Then I will go to the SG table. SG table এ গিয়ে কোন কলামে দেখব? We will look under the STID column. STID column গিয়ে we will search for senior guide value 5. SG table, then STID column গিয়ে senior guide value 5 search করব। Fifth row তে গিয়ে পেলাম। So the fifth row of the SG table will be joined with the first row of the ST table, right? So the first row of the ST table will be joined with the fifth row of the SG table. So the first row, this first row, এই যে প্রথম রোটা জয়েন করা হবে কোন রোর সাথে? ফিফথ রো এর সাথে। So now what do we have? The ID and name of the student and the name of their senior guide as well in the same place, in the same row. Now we can select the student's ID, the student's name, the senior guide's name as well. Okay? Does it make sense, everyone, now?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Everyone, does it make sense now?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. Right then. Okay. So where were we? Yeah. Okay, now then, let's try and see what would happen if we were to make this a little bit more complex for this one here. Let's just say that in the student table, we have another attribute, tutor. The tutor, which is also a foreign key referencing the STID primary key. So একটা স্টুডেন্টের একটা senior guide আছে, একটা tutor আছে. Both senior guide and tutor will be IDs. Once again, remember, senior guide is the ID of the student who is the senior guide of the student. Tutor will contain also the student ID of the student who is the tutor of the student. So both senior guide and tutor are foreign keys referencing the STID primary key. We want to see now the list of all the students with their ID and name, as well as the name of their senior guide and the name of their tutor. তাদের টিউটরের নামও যাচ্ছি, তাদের সিনিয়র গাইডের নামও যাচ্ছি। যেহেতু সিরিয়াল গাইডের নাম চাচ্ছি আগের মতোই আমরা কি করব এই যে SG টেবিলটা আনবো which will contain the same data as the student table. But now that we want the tutor's information as well, tutorer নামও যাচ্ছি just like before আরেকটা নতুন alias আনতে হবে which will contain the same data, the student tables data, student TST, right, under a different alias kintu. So this table, even though it contains the same data, will be treated differently, right? So সিরিয়াল গাইডের নামের জন্য কি করব, সিরিয়াল গাইডের নামটা পাওয়ার জন্য ফার্স্ট আমি স্টুডেন্ট টেবিল থেকে সিরিয়াল গাইডের আইডিটা বের করব, সিরিয়াল গাইডের আইডিটা বের করব স্টুডেন্ট টেবিল থেকে, সিরিয়াল গাইডের আইডি বের করলাম, ওই আইডিটা আমি সার্চ করব এখন এসজি টেবিলে, এসজি টেবিলে গিয়ে ওই আইডিটা সার্চ করব আন্ডার দ্য স্টুডেন্ট আইডি কলাম, স্টুডেন্ট আইডি কলামে গিয়ে ওই আইডিটা সার্চ করব যাতে আমি স্টুডেন্ট সিরিয়াল গাইডের ইনফরমেশনটা পাই। সো এসজি টেবিলে গিয়ে আই উইল লুক ফর দ্যাট সিরিয়াল গাইড under the STID column. Row 5 এ গিয়ে আমি একটা ব্যাচ পেলাম, তারপর জয়েন করে দিলাম, সো সিরিয়াল গাইড ইনফরমেশন পেলাম। নেক্সট আমার টিউটর ইনফরমেশন লাগবে। সো ওয়ান্স अगेन আমি স্টুডেন্ট টেবিল এস টেবিল থেকে টিউটরের আইডিটা বের করব, এস টেবিল থেকে টিউটরের আইডি বের করলাম, এই টিউটরের আইডিটা নাও আই উইল সার্চ ফর ইট ওয়্যার ইন দ্য টি টেবিল, দ্য টিউটর টেবিল, টি টেবিলে গিয়ে টিউটরের আইডিটা সার্চ করব আন্ডার ওয়ান্স अगेन দ্য STID কলাম। সো STID কলামের মধ্যে টিউটরের আইডিটা যখন পাবো ওই টিউটরের নাম ওখান থেকে পেয়ে যাব। So then we can do the select clause, get the student ID, get the student name, senior guide name, tutor name, all of that, right? That's how it works here as well. Employee নাম চাচ্ছি, employee manager এর নামও চাচ্ছি, ঠিক আছে? So first as E, then as N. Since we have used different aliases, these two tables will be treated differently. E table থেকে আমি employee supervisor আইডিটা বের করব, employee supervisor আন্ডারে কিন্তু আইডি আছে, not name, আইডি। E table থেকে what is the ID of the supervisor of this employee, we will find out that. Once we find the ID of the supervisor, we will look for that ID in the M table under the employee ID column. Why? So that once we find that ID, we can also get the name of the supervisor. And then we do this. From the E table, get the employee ID, the employee name, and from the M table, get the employee name. Right? Once it's joined like that. Is it clear, guys?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, very good. All right then, that's all for self-join. Let's take a quick break, shall we? And then we'll come back. And once we come back, we will do more complex operations where we have to, let's say, combine where clauses with group by. Group by where clause combine করে আমরা example দেখবো, ঠিক আছে একটা, and then we'll also see examples of outer joins, right? Left outer, right outer, যেটাই হোক এরকম example দেখবো, ঠিক আছে? So 2-3 example দেখবো এরকম once we come back, and then we'll go into the topic of, let's say, subqueries, all right? Okay, let's take a quick break, and if you when you come back, please join the theory classroom, right? Lab classroom with a theory classroom with join. Let's take a 10-minute breather, okay? Thank you very much. I'll see you in 10 minutes.